Universal Castle Battle is a multiplayer tower defense game. Your objective is to outlive the enemy team. On both sides, mobs will be approaching your castle trying to destroy it. Kill them manually and use defense towers for help. You can also individually choose to ignore the mobs and sabotage the enemy team instead, using a bridge that connects the two castles. As the game progresses, mobs will get stronger and so the weapons you can buy in the store. That's the basic gist of it. This map, however, was made for the Sticky Piston 2021 Map Jam. It was a competition where map makers had been given a theme and a week to make a map surrounding it. After the said week, the maps would be sent to the judges of the competition and the best one would be declared the winner. In this two-parter series, I'll be covering the process of how the map was thought of, how it was made, playtesting sessions, results of the competition, and the changes made afterwards. This map was really fun to make, and I had lots of laughs with Mr. Jag while making it, as you will see by watching the video. If this video will also make you laugh, consider liking the video and subscribing. So, where did the idea for this map even come from? First of all, let's discuss what themes and rules we exactly had at our disposal.
So, for this Sticky Piston Map Jam 2021, without any further ado, the 4 themes are Endless, Ascension, Rivalry, and Accessibility. Here you go, boom!
Rivalry is easy. Basically anything that is multiplayer but not co-op can be counted as rivalry. Endless is also easy. The game needs to be able to be played infinitely, or long enough so that all players become bored. Then we have accessibility, which is a big question mark for everyone.
What does accessibility theme mean? Up to you. What do you think accessibility is? Having access to something, or easy to join in, leave the game, perhaps? It could be both via game-wise or functionality-wise. Be interpreted as you wish.
We interpreted that as making the game easy to understand and play. So, moving on to the last one. Ascension. This was most likely gonna be the stylistic theme of the map, or the one that would decide the gameplay. Maybe some sort of a King of the Ladder, but you jump on clouds and have some sort of knockback slime balls or something. No, that wouldn't work. Besides for the themes, other aspects of the map would be judged as well, such as creativity and mechanics. That was a problem. Ascension is a bit of a weird theme. We really didn't know where to tackle it from, and the fact we had to come up with something original was scary. It was a lot of pressure, and tons of ideas were being thrown around in our voice call. Finally, I decided to get up from my computer and make myself a sandwich. After the excruciatingly delicious, delightful snack in the middle of the most important discussion, I came back to my computer and Mr. Jag had an idea. He had an idea for a tower defense game, and he started showing me it for screenshot on Discord. He opened up Paint, drew 2 castles parallel to one another, and started drawing bridges going outwards. At that moment, as Mr. Jag was explaining his idea, I said, "Shut up!" And then after showing him my screen, I drew a bridge between the castles. It was a silly idea at first, but due to time constraints and no other ideas for something original, we stuck with it. We then started discussing how the players would attack mobs and each other. After a while, we thought of what is the basic principle of the map. The mobs wouldn't attack the player, but instead just go for the castle. That way, you could have powerful mobs attacking the castle, and do not worry about players getting absolutely demolished by the amount of mobs that will come. Because of this, we only really had to balance the health of the mobs and the equipment for PvP. To aid in this task, which we only had a few days to achieve, I used my absolute favorite program in the whole world, Microsoft Excel, or in this case, LibreOffice Calc, which is a good free alternative. As Mr. Jag started building the rough outline of the map, I took to LibreOffice and started making the first mob, the zombie. I made it so this last row can have any number inputted inside of it, and the amount of health, attack damage, speed, and other modifiers would automatically calculate. What amazing technology. This helped speeding up the process of updating the stats if any nerfs were necessary, and spoiler alert, they were. So, let's begin with the actual map making. I had a bad sleeping schedule during summer. I would usually wake up at 1 PM, while Mr. Jag would wake up at 8 AM. This would make it so that half of the time we dedicated towards making the map was spent individually. We later ended up using the tree in the middle as a place to give notes to one another, but that's not important for now. I woke up and joined the server. Mr. Jag had already built the connecting bridge and started to work on the castles. I, on the other hand, was creating basing commands and scoreboards to make a base for the map's engine. During the second half of day 1, I continued the work on my calc document. I created the rest of the mobs and wanted to start planning out defense towers and weapons. However, one brain is gonna make some fatal mistakes in balancing when the engine for the map isn't even finished. So, originally as a slight joke, I decided to ask one of my good friends, Galaxy, to help me in coming up with the original stats. He used to give me small ideas back in the past, but I was expecting him to decline, as this was a lot to ask for. But he ended up accepting, and we spent about 3 hours theorizing how the game would play, how much everything should cost, how much damage it should deal, and we did a pretty decent job given the fact you still couldn't even play the map. Me and Mr. Jag also had arguments about designing the bridges, as you can see. It's always so weird to imagine how such a little change would have made the map look so much different. I mean, here, take a look. I changed it to how Mr. Jack wanted it originally for the sake of the video. To each their own, but I prefer diorite. Just like yesterday, I wake up at 1 PM and join the server. Mr. Jag has done a lot while I was sleeping. The castles were now completed, and the bridges where the maps come from have also been built. For the first half of the day, Mr. Jag was working on the cloud layer below the castles. I personally think that the clouds have added a lot of visual detail towards the Ascension theme, as it seems that we're high in the air and it's a battle between the good and evil, and the Nether for some reason. While Mr. Jag was building, I was developing the base engine, which was near completion, meaning that soon we'd finally be able to play our creation. After all of this working, we were getting pretty tired. Mr. Jag has never finished any of his maps, and I, ever since 2019, have severely slowed down in developing them as well. We wanted a break.
Flashbang. I'm planting the bomb. Throwing fire. Smoke.
Kurde. Zdechnę?
Terrorists win.
What?
Counter-terrorists win. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists
Kurwa! Ja chcę tam dojść.
After some fun, I went back to working on the engine, and managed to get weapons and armor working in the buy menu. So me and the boys hopped in game and got a feel of the weapons during PvP. I don't have any footage of that session, but it wasn't very important anyway, since the mobs haven't been coded in yet. So, in the next episode, we'll be covering the rest of the week, and I'll be showing off the playtesting during the map jam, and changes made after it. Subscribe if you don't want to miss it. The next video isn't gonna be about the map, don't worry.